Once again, I'm Dave with Merkovich. I'll try to go over everything here, but consult your manual for anything I may have missed. This is a mini Combi with a ventless hood unit on it. This is going to require a little bit of maintenance, so this is definitely a good note-taking time. So this one turns off and on just like the one upstairs does. Touch it once to turn it on, push and hold it 5 seconds to turn it off. So before we even start, to avoid getting error codes in this thing, make sure we turn our vent system on and then touch the power, let it fire up. While this is going, we'll go over the inside of the oven real quick. So similar to the Combi upstairs or downstairs or wherever we were, there's a drain in the back. So when we use our soap tabs, which are right here, and I'll go over cleaning at the end. Sorry. They drop right back in the back in this slot, and then we put the cover back in to avoid any nasties falling into the drain box. This door has one pane of glass on it, well, two, instead of the 3 upstairs. When I shut this, after a cook cycle, you'll notice I can't get the door open. It's a safety lock feature that once this is done, it locks it for about 30 seconds to allow steam to escape through the ventilation unit instead of into our face in the facility and setting off the fire alarms. Do not try to deactivate or disconnect this. It will break loose eventually. That's this little piece here, and inside down here it locks. That's what that is. If for some reason something is on fire in this oven or you need to get in there rapidly, do not show your staff how to do this, just for you. Pull that and release it. Okay. Just in case something went in there that wasn't supposed to be in there. Some good pressure on it. Okay, spray hose in here, just in case you need to rinse anything off. Or if you spilled some breadcrumbs in here, you just want to wash them down, or you made a little spilled soup, you'd rather wash it out before you start baking it into the oven. Up on top, similar to the Combi upstairs, we have steam mode, we have Combi mode, we have convection mode, a retherm, which you probably won't even use in here. It's just a combination of dry and moist throughout the cooking process. I would stay away from it in here. And then in here is a book, kind of like the quick chiller upstairs, where programs that are already written are in here. So once we write stuff, if we want to write a program, it'll be in here, so one-touch thing. What are they going to do down here with this, do you know?
This is pizza, so I don't know what they're cooking in there.
Okay. You have my card. We figured it out down the road. If you want me to come back in and program some stuff, it's usually easiest. Once we program, it's as simple as pushing the button, and kids can get it.
Sure.
So if we want to use this just manual mode, say we want to use it for steaming, say we're going to do dogs and brats in here maybe, we just want to get them hot, we can go into steam mode. Then I can adjust my temperature, 85 to 250. I can adjust my time, just touch the time to change the time. And this is hours, minutes, seconds. If I want to preheat, this is a preheat and a cool down. So if I want to heat this up, so I want to get the oven hot before I start cooking, I'll hit the preheat and choose whatever temperature I'm looking for. It'll start preheating. If it's hot and I want to cool it down, so say if it's 400 degrees and I want to cool it down so I can steam a hot dog, then I hit the cool down, choose my temperature, then it tells me to open the door and it'll start cooling down. That's basically it. Over on the right here, there is a, don't even write this down because we're still not sure why this ended up on the oven. This is a delayed start. So it asks me how long of a delay before this starts running 212 steam. I don't know why that's on there, but then it goes into whatever it was set at. So if I have this set 212 for 25 minutes, and I want to go out for I have a phone call or a break or something, and I want this to start steaming in 20 minutes, I can set my timer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, it'll start running. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is. No one's really figured out why that's on there. All right, right below that is a power level. This is just for reduced power. I would leave it on full. There's really no point in turning the power down. It's a pretty small unit.
Right.
Right below this is our humidity control. Looks like a chicken. It's humidity control. So when I'm at 6, level 6 means I'm as dry as I can be inside this oven. Okay. Obviously I won't use that in steam mode, but only in like convection mode.
Right.
So if we want to use this again as a dehydrator, I would probably put it in convection and turn my temp down to about 140, and now I'm in 6. So now I have a 140 degree oven with a fan fully vented, so I can dry products out here at that setting.
Okay.
Typically, if I'm running in combi or steam, that chicken is
That's off.
deactivated.
Sure.
Yep. I really rarely touch that unless I'm doing something very dry.
Okay.
Below it's our fan speed. We've got full and half. Then up at the top we've got, say I put it in combi mode, I can choose a temperature. I'll stick with 350. My time is 10 minutes. I'll set my fan down a little bit lower. And now this button here on the top right is called the shelf timer. Can you get a little close up of that? This is pretty handy if you want to keep this running during service a lot. Say you guys are doing, I don't know, chicken or burgers, so maybe you're doing more of their or breadsticks. Maybe.
Sure.
So you want to keep this thing running full time. Once I hit shelf timer, the oven's going to start running in combi at 350 forever until I stop it. So I hit shelf timer. Now I've got a 350 oven that's rocking and rolling, always hot. Hey, I need 20 breadsticks. Throw in 2 pans of breadsticks. Hit play. Walk away. Someone says, hey, I need 2 more pans of breadsticks. Throw 2 more in there. Hit play. These are just timers.
Okay.
You know, one of your guys goes on break, you can actually set this for 30 minutes and time him when he's on break. He comes back from break, he's good. Breadsticks good, oven's still running. Otherwise, combis typically aren't running unless they're being used. This way, I always have a hot, ready to go combi. Whether it's steam, combi, or convection mode, this is a pretty handy feature to have in a kiosk because it's always rocking. Right. To stop it, just go back, physically hit stop, oven goes back into standby mode.
Got it.
Okay. The shelf timer's a pretty handy one as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Scrubbing bubbles, same as upstairs. We'll go through that last. So the cleaning. The pencil with the book is how we write a program. So if we want to write a program for breadsticks, let's say that's what we're going to do. I want to write a breadstick program. So I will write that. It's asking me for step 1 of 1. So for me, when I write programs, I like to include a preheat step. So I'll activate preheat. I'll preheat to a little higher than the breadsticks I want to cook. Now I'm going to add a step.
Which one was the preheat? Oh,
This
yeah,
button here?
the red button, yep.
And then I want to add a step, which is just the pencil. Now it's asking me step 2 of 2. Then I'll choose my mode. So for this one, I'll choose combi. We'll do 375. And what I think is kind of cool about this too is that I can program this as a shelf timer. So once I start this up, it'll go directly into shelf timer. So I'll activate shelf timer. And 10 minutes is too long for a breadstick, so let's do 6 minutes, 30 seconds for our breadsticks. Alright, so now I have a series of 6 minute, 30 second timers. I'll lock that in. I'm saving it. I got it as breadsticks. I'll hit save. So now my breadstick recipe is up here. So when I go back to my front, I've got steam, combi, convection, retherm. Now I have a recipe book. hit my recipe books. My breadsticks are right here. Oven's gonna preheat to 375. When it's hot, it will beep to let me know, and then I'll simply stop, and it will go into this shelf here where I've got 375
Awesome.
breadstick timers all night long. So if someone wants to come in, open the door, throw in the breadsticks, hit play. Breadsticks come out, we stop them, open the door, let it wait 30-some seconds before it pops open, and then we're good to go. If I'm done end of the night, we back out, just back out of it. That's all we have to do. Okay. So if I want to get to that recipe book from this page, I can go right here to the book, or if I want to write another program, I can go there.
Awesome.
Okay. The cool part about this is if you want to utilize it for any kind of production, unlike the one upstairs, we can program this to do multiple steps.
Sure.
So even if you want to do like a special night where you're doing like ribs, you can program a rib recipe in here where you can just have it do it through 4 or 5 steps for you. So
Okay.
that's a pretty cool feature if you get into that.
And it just automatically keeps going through the steps.
Yeah, if I write 6 steps, it'll go through all of them.
Awesome.
I mean, you're doing more than 3 or 4, you're kind of just being cute and
Well,
overkill.
Right.
And so to back out of this, we'll go back. We're back to our main page. Once again, we have a downloads page. This is good for transferring, transferring programs. So if we have another one of these mini combis, which I think we do, what we can do is get a flash drive over here on the side. You want to get a shot of that? He's got it already. So like the USB drive port on the chiller,
Sure.
there's one on the side. Keep a flash drive dedicated just for the CTX, this one.
Sure.
So if we want to upload recipes to our flash drive, there's this button here where we're uploading it to a flash drive. So I would say write all your programs on one oven and then transfer them to the other one so they're
Absolutely.
identical. And then transfer from flash drive to recipe book. I'll go over and skip those real quick. This is our settings where I can change my shelf timer from a 7 to a 10 shelf. I think 7's fine since it's pretty small anyway.
Yeah.
This sets Fahrenheit or Celsius. I think we're in Wisconsin, we'll stick with Fahrenheit. Right. This is a default, leave it alone. Once you get used to whatever you're doing, leave it. If you write a bunch of programs and you don't trust the staff you're working with, you can lock them out, okay?
Which means they can't use them?
They can't change
they can't
them.
adjust
They
them.
can't change them. Okay. Since staff will be watching this video, I'll show you how to change the code without the camera on it. Easy piece of cake, right? I'm gonna have them scratching their heads on that. Okay, we're good. What is it? Only 4 numbers. What is it? This one does not have a probe in it, so we don't need to calibrate our probe. So really nothing else on here is that important. If you need to change the language, we're in Wisconsin, so I think we're probably okay with English. This is a date and time change. Everything should be up to speed on it. And this is for software updates, that if we have a software update, I'll get it on my flash drive and I'll stop by with you. I'll find a day and you would come back and update it for you.
Sure.
So just to make sure how you guys are doing and make sure everything's fine. And then over here, this is for service. There really isn't a whole lot to do in here. I'm good. This is where the service guys will come in. And I just want to make sure that... Okay. I have this one set to turn itself off after a wash cycle.
Okay.
So that's all I did in there. This is where... in here is where the service guys will go if there's an error code or anything like that.
Sure.
You won't need to go in here. If the staff knows the code, it can just be a problem because they'll get in there and start touching buttons that I don't know how to undo. And you'll have to make a phone call, and then you'll be mad at me, and I don't want you mad at me. So wash cycle, very similar to the one upstairs as far as cleaning. This is just asking me, do I have water on or do I not have water on? It sounds to me like I got water on. Okay, so I say, yes, you got water. This has 4 different cleaning cycles. I have a 20-minute rinse. So if I just did cauliflower in here and it stinks like feet, I can rinse out that smell before I cook a nice batch of cookies. To the left of it, I have a 2-tab clean. which will probably be your daily clean on this. Once again, like upstairs, I was saying with those, if you just steamed in here all day, then you probably don't need to run that. And then there is a 4-tab clean, which is a pretty greasy, messy oven. Okay. And then the big daddy is a 6-tab clean. It'll be about 3.5 hours worth of washing if we've spilled all sorts of cheese and stuff in here. We've got a really ugly mess that will clean her up.
How long is that one?
I think it's about 3.5 hours. I think the 2 is 1 hour 20, and then the 4 I think is 2 hours 6 minutes, and the other one's 3.5. So roughly there. Keep in mind that once you start that wash cycle, you cannot stop it. So make sure you guys are done, or your staff is done, before they start washing this. Because the oven wants to make sure all that chemical gets through its rinse cycle and gets purged out of here, so we're not cooking bacon with chemical in here. Okay. And then when it's done in the morning, I would have them open it up, soft towel, soapy water, clean the gaskets off real well. The door, you can use vinegar on the door, stainless steel cleaner on the outside, that's fine. Okay, back her up, turn her off. Blast stuff into outer space, kill our vent system. If you guys are here after the wash cycle, I advise cracking it. If you guys are going to be closed for 3 or 4 days when this team's out of town, there's no events, definitely crack them. Same with any combi. If you're not going to be using them for a day or two, otherwise you're going to have a smell of a wet tent after camping that you forgot about till next May. Okay, so we're going to come around the side here real quick. This is going to be pretty important for maintenance on your staff side. This hose, spray hose, you can crank up the pressure on this. I turned it down because it felt like it was going to blast through the stainless steel. It's pretty good water pressure on here.
Sure.
You can crank it up or down if you need. If you come and you realize the kids are spraying each other with water and they're spraying into the fryers, it might be something to turn off. This is the vent unit. Since this is ventless and it's not under the hood, we have to have a ventilation piece on top of it. This cleans up the air. This will need to be taken care of nightly. Okay. You might want to get a screwdriver, even a butter knife. I'm using my key. It's not in there that hard. So put a little pressure on the door, not a lot. Turn them 90 degrees. Comes out straight up. You can see there's 3 slots on the bottom here. There are 3 tabs right here. When we put this cover back on, we go on the exact same way we came in. And then back up. You can actually use by hand if you're feeling tough, and then just lock it back up. So to get it back open, down, pull it out. Inside here we have 2 filters. We have a metal baffle filter that catches pretty heavy particles of stuff. Okay, this needs to be washed nightly. If you got a 3-compartment sink down here, that's perfect. I assume there is, right?
Yes. And just rinsed or run through the dishwasher?
Run through the dishwasher, yep. Stay on top of it. Usually the best bet with these things. You've seen hood system filters that are so greasy you can't even clean them anymore. And then this one is a composite filter. Part number right here. My best advice is when you put this in before you guys get running, put a date on this thing.
Okay.
So put 7/13. Oh my God, it's Friday the 13th, isn't it? Put 7/13/2018 on here, or on the side even, or have a sheet of paper or a piece of tape and write check in October or check in 3 months.
Every 3 months?
I would. If you're using this pretty heavily, the big thing in here is you're running a lot of water in through this thing, so
Sure.
mildew will pick up if you guys don't stay on it. Okay. So get a couple more of these, get that part number. Did you write it down already?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and try to get, just keep one around. That way, if for some reason it gets clogged or you get an error code, this will throw an error code at some point when the airflow is reduced too far. They know this is plugged up, need to change it. This one can be washed, this has to be replaced.
Got it.
Okay, so you'll actually hear it right now. There are safety switches or limit switches back there, I'm not sure what I call them, that if these aren't in place and this door isn't on, the unit won't run.
Okay.
Those are kill switches basically. So if they decide, oh, I take this out because it's dirty, I'll just run it without it, it's not going to happen.
So it won't run.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you gotta have those. So you'll hear those. And
How
then
do you clean the compressor filter?
this one,
Yeah.
you don't. It just
Or
keeps,
that's just
it
replaced
keeps
every 3
running.
months?
Yeah, replace
Okay.
it. What I would do at night though is, if this is getting washed, leave the door open, let it all air out.
Okay.
This gets wiped out with a towel.
Sure.
Maybe like vinegar and water, or just a vinegar towel to keep the mildew down. Okay. And then this goes back on, just like that. Good to go.
And as you push that on, it pushes the filters towards the kill switch?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. So if any one of those are not in place, you'll get an error code, it won't run. So if there's an error code, ventilation unit not assembled, or it'll show you an error code and a number. If that happens, check that first. Somebody
Okay.
might have left it in the dish sink. So you will want to write this down. This is the serial number for this Combi. They make them very hard for me to read. 210 4480 -000. That is the serial number. And then the warranty tech line phone number, write this down as well. It's 1-800-558-8744, extension 6702. So if you're having trouble with it, because it's on the back, it's really hard to see. So if you're having
Sure.
trouble, you're on your phone, it's like, what's serial number? I can't see it. Now you got it. Or,
Okay.
or write it on the side here too.
Sure,
Might be the
absolutely.
easiest piece of duct tape, write it right on it. It might be somewhere else, I just don't, I don't know. Yeah, I wish they would change that to up front, but that's not my call. Other than that, it's kind of the same, like I said, same cleaning concept as upstairs. Keep any chemical that doesn't say Alto, Shaam, or vinegar out of it. Vinegar works like the scale-free kind of, but it's about $1 a gallon instead of 60-some bucks a tub.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, you want to get into programming, figure out what we're going to run in here in the other facility, and let me know, and I'll come back and I'll write programs for them so that's simplified for the kids, especially with the self-timer. I think that's probably a
Yep.
real good idea.
Absolutely.
And that way they just touch it and
Press play.
it's the easiest way to do it.
Press play.
We'll leave the stuff upstairs for the morning.
Absolutely.
The more train. And the same thing with the filters. Keep an eye on those 3 to 6 months. What'd you think, Darren? 3 to 6 on those. Honestly, depending on how much you're using it, how often you guys are open, what you're baking. You know, if you're just baking cookies in here dry, you're not going to use much water except during the cleaning cycle. So it's really hard for me to tell, but keep an eye on them. If you see water pressure starting to go down or your scale buildup starting to get out of control, then it's time to change them.
It may happen faster on the first one because these are
Yeah.
all brand new pipes.
Yeah, you got
Sure.
a lot of weird stuff in the pipes, so maybe just write down after 3 months, change them anyway.
Just 3 months.
Yeah, just have your maintenance guys come in and do them, just to be safe. Because there's a lot of dust in the air. There's new pipes. You just never know.